Hello everyone. Today we shall look into the topic the beginning of ELT in India. Made easy just for you. So to start about the beginning, English education continued in India and the teachers of English were prepared in the training institutions, but Indian students of English who were taught English for 10 to 12 years in schools were not able to use English and lacked the necessary skills in the language. This bothered both the experts in the field and also the authorities. In their attempt to find a solution to the problems of ALT, the government of Tamil Nadu accepted the structural syllabus proposed by Jean Forrester. Who is he? He is a British expert in ELT who was teaching in the Madras at the time and made it the official syllabus for teaching English at the school level. Following this, the government introduced the teaching materials prepared by the Indian teachers of English with the assistance of British experts who came to India with the help of the British Council in India. Some of these experts stayed in India and taught in the Indian schools and the teacher training institutions for a long time. And it is very important to note Mr. David Hosbach. He just dedicated his whole life to ELT in India, spending all his life in this country to teach the language. So the role of government is also much important here. The government of India, in their attempt to help ELT, they established the foundation of Central Institute of English, which later it became the Central Institute of English and Foreign Languages, CIFL, that is commonly known, in order to train teachers of English at the school level and also at the college level. In due course, two regional institutes of English were formed. This is much important, note it clearly. One in Bangalore in South India and the other in Chandigarh in North India were started with the technical cooperation of the British government. So what are the two regional institutes? Where are they? Bangalore and Chandigarh. Many British experts participated in the teacher preparation programs conducted in these institutes for several years. And these institutes prepared teachers of English both at secondary and also at the tertiary level. I told you, right, for the school and the college. In addition to monitoring the year in the country. So clear, the role of government is important, CIFL is important, and the two regional institutes of English are also important in the examination point of view. Make it clear. Now in 1957, in order to discuss the ELT situation in the country, the All India Council for Secondary Education, they conducted a national conference which was attended by the senior teachers of English and the experienced headmasters of secondary schools from all over India. The conference what I discussed is about the structural syllabus and they also accepted it as a solution to the problem of ELT in Indian schools. So the ELT experts from the Britain such as F.L. Billows, J.J. Broughton who participated in the conference on behalf of the British Council of India were a powerful influence in support of this acceptance. So they also supported the structural syllabus. Since then, teacher training institutions have been advocating the structural syllabus for ELT in schools and textbooks have been produced on the basis of this syllabus. So the syllabus was fully based on the structural syllabus. Thus, the structural syllabus following the structural approach has come to say in India. That is because of British Council and also the influence that they gave, and the acceptance of structural syllabus was also followed in all the schools and colleges, and that was in approach. When everything was going right with the structural syllabus, in spite of the initial enthusiasm, several Indian experts have expressed dissatisfaction about the effectiveness of the structural syllabus and have suggested modifications to it at various points of time since its inception. But all these have resulted in a few changes to the syllabus and they have several modifications. What are they? So the proposal of few modified versions of the syllabus were the block graded syllabus, the energized structural syllabus and structural oral situational reading syllabus, and there were many. So but they had the foundation of structural syllabus still. While the authorities have been doing everything possible to establish the structural approach to ELT in the Indian schools, The majority of the teachers of English continue to follow the age-old traditional method, using a lot of translation in their grammar classes or their English classes. So whatever it may be, they would follow the grammar translation method still. So this is partly because the training institutions preparing the teachers fail to make them understand the principles of structural approach effectively through useful practices, and partly because the teachers trained on in service courses switch over to the old method after their training under the compulsion of the heads. So only if there is a compulsion, they will be following the structural method. Otherwise, they would keep on following the grammar translation method, which is very old, which is not that effective to that particular age. So there was a non-cooperation of the between the teachers, and so if there is an imbalance between the teachers, of course that would affect the school, that would affect the outcome as well. So the structural syllabus had several modifications, and that is why there are several researchers still in ELT going on to prove their point to bring in a better English. Now we shall have some MCQs to boost your memory. Which British expert dedicated his whole life to ELT in India? Option A, David Hosberg. Option B, Broughton. Option C, John Baldwin. Option D, David Roosevelt. Guessed it right? So the answer for the first question is option A, David Hosberg.